Good morning, grade fives. Today we will be reading a story called The Boy Who Grew a Forest, the true story of Jadav Payeng. First, can anyone point out the country India for me on this map? Yes, it is right here. It is a place that is very hot like here, but is right on the ocean and has a lot more trees. Now, I know we live in Saskatchewan. Has anyone been to a forest? Well, it is a place with lots and lots and lots of trees, bushes, plants, and all sorts of animals. Okay, let us begin our story. The Boy Who Grew a Forest, the true story of Jadav Payeng. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is now. Proverb. Does anyone know what a proverb is? It is a short saying that gives advice. In India, on a large river island, among farms and families hard at work, there lived a boy who loved trees. Trees meant shade, food, and shelter for many. How are trees used to shelter people? Yes, we use them to build houses. Are there animals that use trees for shelter? Yes, squirrels and birds live in trees. There are also animals that dig under trees for shelter, and lots of bugs and insects that love to live in or on trees. But each rainy season, floodwaters swallowed more and more of the beautiful tree-covered land. The boy's precious island was shrinking, eroding away with the rushing river, leaving empty sandbars behind. Now, listen to this word, eroding. Now say it with me, eroding. Again, eroding. Can someone tell me what eroding means? Yes, it is when land is disappearing, most often at the edge of water. As you can see, as the land disappears, you can see the tree's roots. Now, can anyone tell me what a sandbar is? It is a portion of sand that is built up by the currents into a small island. But when the rain comes, the sandbars can dissolve into the water if there are no plants to hold the sand in place. The boy witnessed animals stranded on those sandbars, their homes destroyed. He feared that if animals withered without trees, people would too. Now, listen to this word, witnessed. Say it with me, witnessed. Again, witnessed. Now listen to this word, withered. Now say it with me, withered. Again, withered. Can anyone tell me what either of these words mean? Yes, witnessed means that you saw something happen, and withered means that someone has run out of energy and is becoming sick or dying. So the boy is worried that without land, the animals and people will wither away. The boy shared his feelings with the village. The elders explained that the only way to help animals was to create new homes for them. They gifted the boy with 20 bamboo saplings. Can anyone tell me who an elder is? Yes, it is an older person who a community looks up to. Can anyone tell me what bamboo is? Yes, it is a type of tree. Can anyone tell me what type of animals like bamboo? Pandas, yes, pandas love to eat bamboo. What can people do with bamboo? They can build homes, wooden objects like furniture or cutting boards or utensils. Alone he canoed down the muddy river. He wished he could cover all the land with trees. But a large sandbar nearby was a place to start. The land was too barren for animals, the shores too sandy for leafy trees. Would bamboo grow? The boy hoped. Determined, he began to plant. 1 shaft, 2, then 3. Now listen to this word, barren. Now say it with me, barren. Again, barren. What does barren mean? Look at the picture of this land and tell me what you think barren means. Yes, it means something is dead or without life. Now, how do you think Jadav feels looking at the land, holding his little bamboo shafts? Yeah, I would feel pretty nervous too. Now, has anyone ever grown a plant? How did you feel when you planted it? Interesting. Yes. I would be excited to see what happens. Now, let's see what happens with Jadav's saplings. Every day he watered the saplings by hand, sweat trickling down his face and chest. He built a watering system to help and lugged heavy buckets from the river. His arms grew tired, his back sore. Still, each day he tended to the plants, and over time, the patch grew. But can anyone tell me how this watering system works? Yes, he takes the bucket of water and he pours it into the containers, and the water trickles out, evenly watering the plants. All right. Over time, the bamboo patch grew into a healthy thicket. The boy was proud of his work, but he worried it wouldn't be enough to stop the swelling river or to provide shelter for animals. If he wanted more plants to grow, he would have to create a richer soil. Now, listen to this word, thicket. Now say it with me, thicket. Again, thicket. What is a thicket? Yes, it is a small patch of trees, usually smaller. So this is a thicket. Now, what does it mean to have richer soil? It means that there are lots of nutrients in the soil, or lots of stuff that plants like to eat for being able to grow. The boy carried cow dung, earthworms, termites, and angry red ants that bit him on the journey to their new home. He brought seeds from neighboring villages, over trails, through brush, down the river each day he planted. Now, why would Jadav bring these things to the thicket? Why cow dung? Because it has nutrients that plants like. Now, what about earthworms, termites, and ants? Well, they eat the soil and then create dung full of nutrients. As years passed and the boy grew, so did a forest. 10 acres, 20 acres, then 40. Now, what difference do you see between this forest and this thicket? Yes, the trees are bigger and there are more types of plants. Wildlife returned for the first time in many years. Buffalo, one-horned rhinos and snakes, gibbons, migratory birds, and elephants. The man's forest teemed with life and diversity. Now listen to this word, migratory. Now say it with me, migratory. Again, migratory. What does it mean for an animal to migrate? Yes, it means that they move because of seasons. Yes, are there any animals you know of that migrate? Yes, geese migrate. Okay, now listen to this word, teamed. Now say it with me, teamed. Say it again, teamed. Now, what do you think it means when it says the man's forest teemed with life and diversity? Yes, it was full of life and diversity, or there was a lot of life and a lot of diversity. Now, not everyone was happy. Fear swept over the villages when tigers arrived, so the man planted more grasses to attract small animals that would keep the tigers happy in the forest. Now, how does tall grasses keep the tigers in the forest? Yes, the tall grass attracts small animals, and if the tigers have enough to eat, then they don't have to leave the forest to find food in the villages. Elephants wandered into neighboring farms to feast on the crops, so the man planted more fruiting trees to help feed the hungry elephants. Some wanted to harvest the forest to build homes, but the man was there to plant anew. Now, remember what the author said at the beginning. Trees meant shade, food, and shelter for many. Is it wrong to use trees to build homes? No, but what will happen if the people harvest the trees and not plant more? Yes, the forest will disappear, which means the animals will leave and the land will erode away. Others tried to hunt the animals for their horns and fur, but the man was there to protect. What would happen if the animals were killed? What would happen if the trees and plants? Remember what Jadav had to do to make plants grow? He had to bring animal dung and animals that would make dung. So if the animals die, will the plants be able to grow? No, because the plants need the animals to make dung, so the plants and trees have enough nutrients to grow. Few thought the forest would last, but the man believed in its strength. Now in India, on a large river island, among wildlife and trees, as tall as buildings, there lives a man who has planted a forest. The forest is called Muley, after a man named Jadav Muley Payang, who never stopped planting and pruning and protecting. Only by growing plants, the earth will survive. Jadav Payang. Now, can you tell me how this story is like a circle? Let's look back at the beginning. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is now. Yes, so it begins with planting and it ends with planting. Okay. Your assignment is to show how this statement is true. You're going to take out a piece of paper and show how each step of Jadav's journey creates a circle. This assignment is important because you will use it when you create a later assignment.